Good morning, everyone. So today we are going to discuss fashion. So fashion is a very important also aspect where the vegan lifestyle shines and is very important. But why? So in this presentation we will discuss this, introduce this at least a little bit. So so the vegan lifestyle is not only about food or about diet. It encompasses all aspects of life, all aspects of animal people welfare and rights. So this is something that maybe is not that clear when we talk about veganism, because often we think about it as the vegan diet or only about food, but it is actually very much larger than that. Food is, of course, one of the main aspects because a lot of issues arise from food. Of course, from the animal agriculture is a gigantic industry. So meat, fish, eggs, dairy, even insects. They are very big industries. Maybe not yet insects. I hope it will never be. But yeah, they are gigantic industries that are very hard to crumble. And they do a lot of promotions, and they do they promote their products. They want to make money. So, but this is just for the diet. But what about the other aspects? We talked already many aspects in the presentation series. And today it will be about fashion. So like leather, wool, fur, down, or any animal-derived glues or dyes. That we, I'm not sure we realize, for example, often leather is considered to be like cool. Like we have a leather jacket and we are like a cool person. Usually it's like a black leather. Also for the cars, often like when we pay more money when we get a higher car, like so-called level, then we can get like a leather car. As if leather is something that is high class, considered high class, cool, but we don't realize that leather is basically the skin of a cow, of an innocent cow that has been slaughtered for or not her skin. So it is often said that it is like a byproduct, so it may be fine, but not really. It is much more than a byproduct. It is. It is. They work together with the animal all the animal agriculture, of course. They are. It's kind of one industry, one exploitation industry, just like another one, a new one. And yeah, Why would wear cow be cool? So strange. It's like a fashion. It's probably the fashion industry marketing. And yet there's nothing cool about it. It's very cold material, and well, just doesn't feel right wearing it. And also sitting on it is like sitting on a poor dead cow, or walking on it. Sometimes there are even like carpets made out of the skin of cows, but this time they are not even processed. It's just we see the cow, we see the contour of the cow, and then we put it as carpets. I mean, it's yeah. I'm not sure what to say. It's it's really sad when this is so much suffering behind it, and we are exploiting the animals so much in this world for no reason at all, because we don't need to. There's alternatives, of course. So many alternatives to those products, to those animal materials products. We don't need it, and it doesn't belong to us. Like fur is an animal cloth, basically. Not basically, it is their clothes, and we, in our sense of dominion, that everything belongs to us, that everything is a product, we just decided that no, it's no longer their product, it's our product, and that they still differ from the animals. I mean, still they kill, and then they steal, and then we wear it. But those are such lovely, innocent creatures, like foxes. How can one enjoy this when there are so many alternatives? It's not required, and there is so much suffering behind the scene. So yeah, if we choose vegan clothes, then there's no hidden suffering. No one was harmed for our clothes, and yeah, it's not a necessity for sure. Not in, certainly not in this day and age. Maybe for some it's a tradition, but tradition is not necessarily positive. Many times there are not positive traditions. Tradition just means somebody started it, and another one continued, and then it became a tradition. And then we do it forever without even thinking, like on automatic mode. But it's so easy to change, so easy. It's not that wearing like animal clothes makes us evil, of course not. But we are kind of numbed down. We don't, our consciousness, our kindness, compassion is numbed down. We do not, our hearts suffer, and maybe we don't know why, but well, that is why, because what we wear, what we do, causes suffering to other loving beings, and we are not aligned in our actions are not aligned with our ethics, with our values, and yeah. So, and once we stop that, then we are in a way free. So I'm not saying that we should like throw away all the existing clothes. That would be a big waste, but we need to stop so-called producing it, and anything that we have, maybe give it in donations, so that at least it's used. After all, okay, if the harm is done, it's like done. If somebody really needs it, then they can have it, and then once it's no longer one is torn out or worn out, then it can be recycled or thrown away. Don't know if it can be recycled, but we should certainly not do it again. We should well, I mean, if we understand it, then we should just okay, we can use it, but not buy it again. That is the idea. Like maybe there are many shoes that made out of leather, unfortunately, and okay, so we wear them until they are worn out, then we throw them away, and we buy a vegan shoe alternative. Yeah, so let's discuss this. And yeah, so why clothing choices matter? Because it's not a neutral territory. So when we wear things that are made out of animal, or when we buy those clothes, well, lives have been taken, tortured, abused, families destroyed, and it's like the pain has been normalized. We don't realize how much pain behind our decision to buy those clothes make, because if nobody bought them, then nobody would do those to the animals, more or less. At least some categories, of course. Food, that's still another thing, but the food industry will also lose a lot of power, because a lot of money also comes from the clothes, animal clothes industry, so-called industries. So it's a choice that we have. We can either choose clothes made out of vegan fabric, and then we are making a statement that that reverberates behind our closet. So that we are declaring that fashion can exist without any victim. Don't we want that to be kind and compassionate to all beings? I think all of us want that, just we are not aware of many things that happens. Even if we are aware, we are not kind of conscious enough. We are kind of asleep. We are seeing things in the eyes of the maybe models, model industry, and like clothes industries. They promote their clothes, and then we want to fit in, maybe, and whatever we see in the magazines, then we want that too. If the magazine promote maybe fur, leather, wool, whatever, then we maybe we want that too. But we should think before we buy. Like we need to put like a guard in front of our senses. When for example in discotheques, there are like one or two very big guys, very strong guys, very muscular, strong guys. They can be like maybe martial arts experts, and they do not accept everyone inside the discotheque. Maybe some are drunk, so of course they will not accept them in, and they will, no matter what the drunk person says, even if being a bit violent, the guard will not allow those people in, or maybe somebody took drugs or intend to to bring drug in the discotheque, or maybe some violent people, and that make issues to people. So the guard will say, no, you stay outside, and they will be very firm. They can be like saying it in a kind way, but they will be firm. And that is very important, because if there were no guard, then discotheque would have a lot of problems. So the guards are a central pillar of the discotheque. Not only discotheque, there are also other places where there are guards. Maybe guarding the king and the presidents and so on. And yeah, so they need guards, and also discotheque need guards. So we should also put guard in our mind, in front of our senses, that we do not accept anything that comes in. So we should reflect upon anything that we see, that we think, that we say. Like before saying anything, we should have these guards check: do we have to say something positive, helpful to mankind, or to people, or to simply our family members or friends or co-worker. And yeah, so same thing when we look at magazines of why did I come to it? The idea is that if you look at a magazine, like a model magazine or a fashion magazine, we also need this power of discernment, this guarding our senses. Whatever comes through our eyes, we should not accept everything, and that it comes directly to our acceptance. We should think, oh, this is, I do not accept that. Then no, we don't let it pass. We say, no, this is not for me. And if we see something promotes, like fashion promotes vegan clothes, oh, that is wonderful. That is for me. So that's why sense guardians can be wonderful. As we say, to think twice before we speak. So that means we have to pass our thoughts to our guardian, and the guardian say, okay, this is not okay. Yeah, so what does vegan clothing mean? It means to refuse unnecessary harm, because we don't need to. It just can be traditions, can be wishing. As we said, it can be like fashion industries promoting those, but we do not need to. And so we live consistently with compassion. We are aligning our actions with values. This is something that is very, very important. And we are wearing values, not victims. So whatever we wear, we reflect that to the exterior. We are mirrors of whatever we do, whatever we say, and even whatever we think. So when we look at the mirror, we don't want to see, we want to see a person who is aligned with actions and values. And if we see clothes made out of animals who were tortured and abused, then we may feel not very good, maybe sad, maybe sick, and we will not know why. But this may be partly the reason. Yeah, so leather is like, there's the myth of a byproduct. It has been successfully marketed as just waste from the meat production. But this, if we look at it very closely, leather is well directly tied to killing. Yeah, there are animals that are specifically bred and slaughtered for their hides. So it's not necessarily a byproduct, it's a co-product, what we say, with the animal agriculture to make it more profitable. Again, everything comes back to money. Everything is about money. And we should realize that we are part of kind of some industry, very, very dark, very bad, negative industries. And we do not need to be part of it. It's just our decision. So the leather industry gives a lot of financial support, of course, to the animal agriculture. So when we cannot really separate one from the other. And also another thing is that to produce it is very toxic. So there are dangerous chemicals that are used and that poison workers, and they contaminate rivers and destroy ecosystems. So there's absolutely nothing natural about the entire process. We should not think leather is in any way natural. It is natural to the animal people, not for us to wear. It is just processed suffering, one could say. It is masquerading as luxury for some reason. Somehow, if you think about it, it's pure marketing. Somehow the leather industry fought very, very hard how to be profitable, because maybe saying that it is dead people's skin would not very much attract people. So they maybe try to make it like into a luxury thing. And of course, they use leather. They don't use cow skin. Like if somebody would ask, what do you wear? And then we would say, oh, I'm wearing cow skin. That would chill, very chilling. What? But no, then it's like the leather is like a name for something that is luxury. It became a synonym with luxury, which is just marketing, pure successful marketing. And we are going right into their shoes. So fur is also so much suffering, and it's one of the cruelest practices on earth, and it's entirely driven by vanity and kind of status. It involves immense suffering that can never, ever, ever be justified. As we said, the fur belongs to the beautiful animals, not to us. But there are many, many animals that are abused and tortured and killed, basically only for their fur. And it's so sad. They live in cages also until they are killed, in almost larger than their bodies, so their limbs atrophy. And they cannot really eat properly. They cannot do their stuff properly. They cannot run, they cannot be free, they cannot swim, they don't have family. So, even many are skinned alive or killed by brutal methods like gassing or electrocution that may not kill them instantly. And psychological suffering is absolutely intense, as these are no different than human people. Imagine human people growing in cages. Um, I mean, that would be an horror movie. Not even a horror movie, a supremely horror movie, like the horror of horrors. Yeah, this is exactly what we do to those beautiful, loving beings. And this is what to be warmth? No, it's just like vanity. And yeah, okay, there is warmth, of course, because the animals use it for their own warmth because they need to survive in winter. So they use their skin. They don't use it. They have their skin as clothes, like we do. We have clothes. And yeah, so choosing like fur is choosing an unimaginable violence, and this should be stopped. This must be stopped. Yeah, wool is another thing that we may think is um, like a kind material, it's a normal material. It's like one can see romantic vision of ships in in the in nature, and then with the like how do you call it, ship? I forgot the name. Ship person, shepherd, like tending to them and really caring for them. But again, it's an horrible industry as well. There's nothing romantic about it, nothing compassionate about it. We do not need it. Most importantly, like the sheeps are there's genetic manipulation to have sheep which produce a lot of wool, much more wool than they require and that they need, and that makes a lot of issues because they may be too warm, um, and yeah, it creates a lot of issue to the sheep. It's not natural, and it creates many issues like with mobility, and it's chronic discomfort. And there is such painful practices of cutting skin from lambs without anesthesia. And it is a standard practice in major wool-producing countries. Um, and yeah, when they shear, of course, they want to be efficient, so they shear at speed because they are paid by volume. Then it leads to cuts, injuries, and distress for frightened animals. And of course, early death. When sheep's oil production declines, then what to do? They're sent to slaughter. Um, so they live just at a fraction of their natural lifespan. So for that reason and many others, if we see here, it's not that innocent as we may believe. So yeah, so this like wearing wool, we are deceived into believing that it is completely okay and that there is no consequence. But actually, there's a lot of consequence, a lot of violence in this production, and I will repeat it ever and ever. We do not need it. No one really needs it. We can have wonderful vegan clothes, plant-based clothes. Yeah, and then we have silk. Again, silk, of course, somehow has become a big luxurious material that we believe is luxury. It may be very expensive. And yes, I don't know the history of silk when it started. I think quite a long time ago, probably. But yes, it's we don't realize that it is that it requires killing silkworms alive, and then it shatters the sophisticated image of that. So yeah, so we are ending millions of lives just for fabrics that we do not even need, that we consider luxury, by the fashion industries, by people. And when we wear these silk materials, we are wearing what is part of that came out of killing also innocent beings by the millions. And we deliberately kill them just when they are transforming. So again, we are choosing profit over life every single time we choose to wear silk or use silk in any sort of way. So again, we should stop. And there's if we think about it clearly, we see a clear thread in all those also presentations. It's boils down to kind of not caring about other living beings. Any living beings that looks different, we believe we have the right to do whatever we wish to them in any shape or form. Be it big animals, small animals, aquatic animals, land animals, sky animals, because just they look different. Then we believe those are products, those are not living beings. So we dominate instead of coexist. And that is destroying the planet. It's destroying, of course, the animal, drive them to extinction, many of them, millions of them. And it causes human sufferings, so much human suffering because of what we do, because we want to dominate nature instead of coexist. That is not the signs of an advanced civilization. That's a sign of a civilization that doesn't know what it does. To put it gently, I was looking for gentle words. I don't want to be too harsh, but it's hard to see it any other way. Humankind has a great potential, gigantic potential, to become a saintly civilization, a kind civilization, one that really respects all lives, and that coexists with nature, and that helps nature. We can help nature. We can create. The best that we can do is leave the forest alone, leave nature alone. But we can also protect nature in many ways. At the very least, not to cause harm. And what we need to see is to open our eyes that all living beings, all animals are one. We included. We are not superior to any being. We are just one species among million. And yeah, if we want to to expand our consciousness, expand our hearts, expand our minds, then we must become kind and compassionate to all beings and stop seeing other beings as as products, basically, be it for food, for fashion, as tests in laboratories, and any other way that we can think of. Those are living, breathing, caring, innocent beings with that they feel pain, that they love their families, that they protect their families, that don't want to die, that wish to live, and we take that away from them for no reason at all. But again, we have a choice. So if we realize that, then we can change. We are also wonderful thinkers. We can think by ourselves. We can, but maybe not. We don't always do, because we only take so many impressions from society, and then this influences us, of course. Our habits are influenced by whatever we see, whatever we hear, whatever we think, by our friends, families. So it's not always easy, but to do what is right, we can, and we must. Maybe that's what Yoda would say. Yeah. So so it is about this silkworm. So there is mass death. So just 1 yard of silk fabric takes a couple of thousand of silkworms, and silkworms can feel pain, and they are not objects, they are sentient beings, and it's utterly, completely unnecessary. There are many other alternatives that are completely harm-free, and that is would be much more compassionate. So elegance never needs cruelty. So we should really, instead of believing that we need to be like that luxury is all about cruelty, we can turn that upside down and really make that luxury requires compassion. That would be wonderful. That is something that fashion industries, vegan fashion industries should promote. That really luxury can only be achieved by compassionate fabrics. Then we have down and feathers, then again stolen warmth from birds which are then restrained and then causing so much extreme pain. Just we basically take their feathers by force, and then they are marketed as cozy, natural luxuries. But it comes at a very big cost to the birds. It gives them a lot of pain, and also their dignity. We should not underestimate their dignity, like us. They have their clothes, and we have our clothes, and then we take away their clothes by force. That's not right, is it? And we inflict so much suffering to geese and ducks by some of the most painful practices in the animal agriculture. So it's like the feathers are basically plucked from conscious, terrified birds, causing like extreme pain and injury. And it's repeatedly done, repeated trauma. And then they are killed, of course, for meat. It's like a recurring theme of the animal abuse industries. Once they are no longer used, then they are sold to meat. And so they are all, again, looked upon as basically further producing machines or products, no regard to their welfare at all. And yes, many some birds are force-fed, like foie gras. Force-fed is absolutely how is that even possible? So that's for food, but it's also related. And then there is also synthetic down or feather that is involves no duck at all, and that is purely natural. No animal cruelty, no animal use or abuse. Yeah, they're much kinder and much better. And yeah, no being should suffer, so we can feel cozy. So feeling warmth and comfort doesn't mean that we need to steal other beings' clothes. Yeah. And then there is the environmental costs. Yeah, so they also poison the ecosystem and they accelerate also climate change. The poison, from leather producing, it creates a lot of toxic materials, like toxic chromium and other chemicals that goes into our waterways and creates dead zones. So it's absolutely terrible. Yeah, plus wool farming causes a lot of issues like methane emissions, a lot of water consumption because, of course, the animals, they need to drink a lot of water. Yeah, and then also the fur farming is also has quite a higher footprint than the alternative no fur alternatives. So yeah, so it's very easy to change. Vegan materials protects animals and the earth. It's a double win. And yeah, it's compassion that expands to all life and as well as to the ecosystem we depend on for our own well-being, for the human well-being. It's for the animals and humans both should be protected. So when we protect the animals, surprise, we are also protecting ourselves. When we destroy the animals, we are destroying ourselves. So we should open our eyes, open our hearts to see reality as it is. We often do not see it because we are not living in a very kind and compassionate world. So everything around us is shows cruelty that we do not even, since we are completely in it, we do not see it. It's like being completely in water and not realizing that we are in water because we've been there for so long, maybe, and that it becomes like natural. Maybe we start to believe that we belong in the water. And so this world is filled with violent things between humans and humans and the animal people, and humans and nature and the planet. Because wherever we look, if we really open our eyes, we will see animal food everywhere, in all restaurants, most restaurants. We can buy those, we can buy leather about everywhere. We can buy hunting, fishing gears in usual stores. Yeah, we can buy many fabrics that contain wool or feathers, and they are believed to be very good and very normal. Yeah, we can see fish everywhere. Fish food. We can, yeah, and then we see a lot of wars between humans. And yeah, so wars between humans, this is very visual. It's very, not only visual, it's a disaster for the world, disaster for the humans, and also disaster for the animals, because in war, also animals are also killed feel great pain. So, because this world is not an easy world, it's not a vegan world with so much violence, it's hard for us to not see this because we are so much into it that it's hard to dissociate ourselves from these concepts. We do not see that when we eat meat or drink milk, we're completely oblivious to the suffering, immense suffering behind those products, so-called products. When we eat fish, we do not believe or think that the fish had his or her life in the ocean. And yeah, when we wear leather, we do not think about the immense suffering of the leather-producing animals. Same for the fur. So that's why this world is. We need to waken up. We need to wake up. It's not the idea is not to feel down. It's an opportunity for us to improve ourselves, improve the world, make it a kinder place, make it open people's hearts, open their minds, open their compassion and kindness to help people see that that the choice that we make do matter. Of course, it's not that people are like thinking about being unkind or uncompassionate. Most people wish to be kind and compassionate, and most people are kind and compassionate to both animals and humans, but at least only for living ones, living animals especially. When we see an animal, we do not wish to eat it. We wish to befriend with it, and we would feel very good if the animal comes to us and not afraid. But then just the next hour, we will eat our beefsteak or hamburger, and not realizing that what we eat is maybe just the cow that was just grazing an hour before, and that we saw and that we patted, or even horses or any other being. So it's kind of aligning our values and actions is extremely important, and very important to open the eyes of the world, of people. That's one of the reasons why I'm making those presentations. Even if just one person benefits from it, I would be very happy. Or just maybe reflect, that people reflect on those aspects, then that would be a success for me. I do wish to see a vegan world, of course. It's not about forcing something on people, it's just opening their eyes. Since people are already have kindness and compassion in them, but veiled by many veils. In a way, all that we need to do is remove those veils. Remove the veils around their hearts, around people's hearts. And then, because it's not teaching anything new, it's not educating anything new. It's something that already exists in all of us again, but because of society, especially because of so-called traditions and how we were brought up, that we did not realize it. But once we realize it, we have the duty to change. For some, it may take years, some will not change, but some could change very fast, even instantly. Some go vegan from one day to the next. Um, Usually, it's because of some ethical, like epiphany. Maybe usually watching some documentaries that are maybe hard to watch, like Earthlings, open people's hearts and mind and eyes, and then wondering how come they didn't know about all that, and then they go vegan on the spot, and that's wonderful. Um, but for many people, that's not the case. It may take a long time, weeks, months, years, and it is what it is. So it will take as long as needed. So the idea for those presentation is to sow some seeds, and if they sprout in a year or two, then so be it. If they sprout immediately, that would be wonderful. At least it should make us think and maybe discuss this with our friends and coworkers and family. See what they think about. Most people would probably agree. Some would disagree. Okay, that's okay. We cannot always agree with all. But then why? Why disagree with this? What can be wrong with this? And I'm not talking about like some people who say, yeah, but those people there, they don't have anything, so they need to do it. Okay, fair point. But what about us? Most people in the world do not need this. And yeah, so if we ourselves don't need it, then why participate in it, knowing the harm that it does? And there are beautiful vegan alternatives, natural fibers, like cotton is very much used. There are like plant leathers made out of even fruits. They're wonderful. And yeah, there's other materials that may be a bit unexpected. So, and all of those are like cruelty free. So it's yes, vegan fashion that proves that kindness is can be innovative. Kindness is can be the the main kind of purpose of fashion, or the main drive of fashion. That would be wonderful. And they are not compromises. They are like upgrades. They are better than even the so-called animal-based fashion. So they're better for the planet and better for, of course, the animals. Yeah, and better than all the suffering. So in a way, we don't need to have suffering to wear clothes. So yeah, so we can wear wonderful vegan clothes daily. So it's like compassion. We wear them daily. So when we get up in the morning and rest, we have choices either to an act of peace or to one that may be a bit less so. So it's a daily declaration of our values. Can be found also in our clothes. So if, for example, we wear like a fake leather, and we go to our workplace, then people say, wow, looks really cool. Then one said, oh, this is, it's not real leather, it's fake leather. And yeah, and then other, wow, who say, I want that too. Then one can explain why, and so on. And also, yeah, no blood on our clothes. So we have knowledge that we have not contributed to suffering for our comfort in life. And again, it's like against values in action, or aligning our actions with our values. It's a living authentically with our deepest belief about kindness and justice. Of course, it's not about perfection, it's about direction. It's making conscious choices about what we can do. Um, like if we are, for example, we are poor and we go to a donation center, um, then that would be like an exception for one can get also there like leather maybe or whatever, but cannot just afford any other clothes or whatever clothes the donation center has, then that is it. Or as I said, that whatever we have like leather, it may be best just to wear them until they wear out and then buy new ones, vegan alternatives afterwards, or donate them to maybe a poor organization that takes care of poor people. Then at least it's not just wasted because it already exists, so let it be. But we should not create new ones. That's the idea. We should say now and not again. Yeah, so every compassionate choice whispers, I refuse to harm when I don't have to. That is extremely important. It's a reflection of, like a wardrobe is a reflection of our hope and innovation also, and respect to our life. And it tells a story of transformation, of compassion, of kindness to all beings. Yeah, basically that's it. That's the presentation of today, for today. I hope you got something out of it, that it resonated with you. Maybe you learned something that you did not know about. I would highly encourage to see, to learn by yourself what are the practices of the fashion industry, in the animal-based fashion industry. Where does fur comes from? Where does leather come from? All the wool issues, and because we are not necessarily aware of it. Almost no one is aware when we grow up, for example, that wool has so much suffering behind it. We all see like movies about sheep grazing around and shepherds around, and also a dog, but like gathering them around, and we think, wow, that is so peaceful and natural. But reality often is very different, especially when we don't need to contribute to it. We don't need this. This is just traditions from shepherds that probably inherited this from their own families. And yeah, possibly they could transition to a vegan wool, vegan clothes company. It's just a choice, basically. They can get help from people who know this subject well. So yeah, so we do have a choice, most of us. So let's make the compassionate choice. So thank you, and let's move to our daily practice. One moment, please. Okay. So, good morning, everyone. So let's move to our daily practice. We will do the same sequence as we did in previous sessions. So we start with prayer and then gratitude. So let's start with prayer. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I will show gratitude for my many blessings. Just for today, I will be kind to all living beings. May today be a joyful, peaceful, blissful, and magical day. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. May all the beings in all the world be happy and free. And may our thoughts, words, and deeds contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace to all of nature, peace to all living beings, to all humans, to all animal people, and finally peace to our own self, to our own mind. Om. So, so let's move to the gratitude session. So just a couple of minutes. Let's be grateful for everything that we have, everything that we have received as gifts from so many people, teachers, family members, farmers, vegan clothes producers. So let's be grateful for everything. So just a couple of minutes. Okay, so um, let's move on to the relaxation part of the practice. So we're going to practice the 61 points of relaxation, also called Shavyatra. It's like the corpse journey. I like to compare with Shavasana, which means the corpse pose. So it's a wonderful practice where it's like a very systematic body scan of different points on the body. That is very relaxing. And also, yeah, those are special, like chosen points. So one can use those as a kind of meditation to really try to focus the mind on those points and to become one-pointed. And yeah, so it's a good idea to do after a physical exercise that we have not yet done. So we should do first. Maybe I'm not very much awake yet. Let's do the physical exercise first. So it's always good to do a little bit of physical exercise in the morning, after waking up and before practicing, so that we feel better sitting, and yeah, our joints are loosened. So let's start with the usual Sufi roll. So inhale forward, exhale back. Then the other way. Come back to center. Then inhale, exhale round. Come back to center. Inhale, exhale, turn to one side. Inhale, extend the spine. Exhale, turn a bit more. Come back to center. Inhale, exhale, the other side. Inhale, extend the spine. Inhale, turn a bit more. Then inhale, come back to center. One hand on the mat, and the other comes up. The other way. Come back to center. Hands on the shoulders. Inhale. Exhale. The other way. Come back to center. Just make some rolls with the hands. on your hands rapidly and relax. And now just do the same with the legs. So extended legs and stretch them. Make some circles with the feet. Bring one leg towards you and turn towards it. The other one. And then put your legs in diamond shape and just very, very slowly and not forcefully, just let gravity pull you down. Do not push. And slowly come back. So this is the our physical exercise for this morning. Very simple routine. You can do also other things if you don't want, if you can, like neck rolls or anything else, neck turns. I'm a bit hesitant to do any neck rolls because it's not for everybody. So only if you can do it, or you can do like head turning, that's okay, of course. Or like head going to the side or up and down, rather than rolling them. Yeah, so let's do now the 61 points of relaxation, Shavyatra. Close your eyes, relax your body, relax your shoulders, your neck, your head, relax your back, your front, your hips, legs, feet, relax your arms and your hands, relax your abdomen, shoulder blades, relax your eyes, nose, mouth, tongue, relax your ears, your chin and jaw. Take a couple of deep breaths. And let's begin. Bring the entire attention to the space between the eyebrows. Imagine a beautiful blue star there. And move that star wherever we put our attention to. Now bring your attention to the pit of the throat, the right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, tip of the right thumb, tip of the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Back to the right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, pit of the throat, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, tip of the left thumb, tip of the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Back to left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, pit of the throat, the center of the chest, the right chest, center of the chest, the left chest, center of the chest, the navel, lower abdomen, right hip joint, right knee, right ankle, tip of the right big toe, tip of the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Back to the right ankle, right knee, right hip joint, lower abdomen, left hip joint, left knee, left ankle, tip of the left big toe, tip of the second toe, third toe, fourth toe, and fifth toe. Back to the left ankle, left knee, left hip joint, lower abdomen, navel, center of the chest, pit of the throat, and space between the eyebrows. And relax. Now we do it once on our own. Do it at your own pace. Not too slow, not too fast. Maybe 2 seconds per point. So let's start now. and slowly open your eyes. So let's take a 5 minutes break, and then we will start with the pranayama uh, part. So let's start our pranayama practice. So we'll do the same as we did in the past sessions. So we're going to first start with some controlled breathing. So we breathe in 4 seconds and breathe out 4 seconds. If that is too much, you can do 3-3 or 2-2. And yeah, it's very important. The idea is more to keep the quality that we wish, and that is silent. So yeah, so we are trying to be as silent as possible. Of course, unless we have blocked nose, then okay, maybe a bit less silent, but that's okay. We try to make it as smooth as possible. We try to make it diaphragmatic, meaning we breathe in from basically the belly. The shoulders and the chest are very relaxed. We try to minimize or even eliminate the pauses at the top and the bottom of inhalation exhalation. And we try to breathe from the nose only. Breathe in and out from the nose. Unless the nose is blocked, of course. But yeah, so as the saying goes, the nose is for breathing, the mouth is for eating and speaking, and emergency breathing. So really the nose is made out, especially by nature for breathing. That's why it's so effective at it. Mouth is only when the nose is blocked completely. And there are many advantages of breathing from the nose, very many health benefits. There are some organizations who are almost entirely dedicated to this breathing from the nose practice, with different practices that are corresponding to that. But that's one of the main point, is that we should breathe from the nose. Of course, except at times that when we talk also, we may breathe from the mouth at times. But during those practices, it is from the nose as much as possible. So yeah, so let's do that. So breathe in 4, out 4. Try to be as relaxed as possible, and let's do this. and slowly open your eyes. So let's pass now to the 1-2 breathing pattern. So breathing in for X seconds and out for 2X seconds. So we're going to do 4-8. So inhale for 4, exhale for 8. This may be a bit too much for some, so please do to your own capacity, like 3-6 or 2-4. And again, with the same quality of the breath. And this is really very calming to the nervous system. So let's do that for a couple of minutes. So breathe in for 4 seconds, breathe out for 8 seconds in a very smooth, silent, diaphragmatic way. And relax. So now we move to the Nadi Shodhanam practice. So alternate nostril breathing. So where we breathe alternatively from left to right. So for that we use the Vishnu Mudra. So we bend the index and the middle finger. We use the thumb and the ring to block the nostrils. The practice that we're going to do today is still the third type, which is just imagine that we block the right. Then we exhale from left, inhale, left, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. Then we switch. Exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale, inhale. So it's like exhale, inhale, exhale, switch, exhale, exhale. I think I did one more. So exhale, inhale, switch, exhale, inhale. So it's like 6 inhalation, 6 exhalation in total. And that's one round. And we can do 3 rounds of those, and each time we start with the other nostril. So we're going to do together 1 round, and then we're going to do on our own 3 rounds after that. So bring your hands in Vishnu Mudra, and then inhale, exhale, inhale to start. Block right, exhale from left. Exhale from left. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. And inhale. Switch. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And relax. So that is just 1 round. So let's do it on our own for 3 rounds. Between rounds, you can take a couple of seconds rest. Of course, if the mind twirl, then just stop it. But yeah, so let's do this. And again, keep the same thing as before. So try to make it diaphragmatic. Try to make it smooth. Do not have pauses so no retention here. And yeah, silent, I mean, in a way we cannot control it. Because one nostril will be more closed than the other, so this one will make some noise, and that is fine, as long as we can breathe in from there in any case. So yeah, let's do that. and just relax. So we're going to continue this third type for 2 more sessions afterwards, and then we will move. We will combine all three that we saw in the past together. So the first, second, and third type of Nandishodanam, placed from the Himalayan tradition. And but for now we will do this third type 2 more times afterwards, tomorrow and after tomorrow. And now let's move to the final practice of pranayama, which is the primary. It's a wonderful practice, very easy. Just inhale, close your mouth, and make like So this has a very calming effect on the nervous system. If you have trouble falling asleep, you can make practice this for a couple of minutes before going to sleep, and then this will help. Because it's very calming. There's also some scientific reasons to calm. It releases like nitric oxide from the nose canal that goes into the lungs. So it stimulates them basically. So a lot more nitric oxide comes to the lung, dilating the vessels. So that is a good thing in order to kick in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the one that is rest and relax system, which is of course the one that we wish for meditation. So let's do that. You do not need to follow me. Do it at your own pace, your own tones. You can modify the tone each time. Try to see which tone vibrates maybe the chest. Some will vibrate maybe the nose canals more. Which tone we play does play a role. So let's do that. So now we move to our self-dialogue part, the famous self-dialogue, or not famous, which is about talking to ourselves in a positive, loving, kind, compassionate way. We are compassionate people, we have compassionate hearts, and we need to show compassion to not only to all the animal people, all the humans, but yeah, also to ourselves. We need to bring kindness into our hearts to all beings, including ourselves, to see all beings as one, as not separate from us. That's a wonderful practice by itself. It's something that we can all do today, maybe when we go on the street, meet people, to look behind their people's envelope, behind people's words, behind people's thoughts, ideas, habits, what people really are. And people, I mean, as you guess by now, I never mean only humans, I mean all beings, animals and insects alike. Let's try to see through the illusion. Something extraordinary will happen if we do that. Just when you talk with somebody, maybe sometimes be silent and just look at them and understand who they are, that they are loving, amazing, divine beings incarnated in this world for some purpose. We all have a purpose, and playing our parts in this, like actors playing a role in a movie. Similarly, we also play a role in this movie of life. Similarly to movies, all actors are important. We in this world, each one of us is important. From the smallest ant to the biggest whale, to the humans, to the dogs and cats and pigs and cows and foxes and birds and bears and lions. We each have a purpose. As evolution, we tend to evolve. Our consciousness tend to evolve, our minds tend to evolve. At least in some aspects. So that's also part of the reincarnation discussion, that why do we reincarnate? Maybe because we didn't learn our lesson. Because we are here to learn, basically. So reincarnation is a normal process, that we believe in it or not. It exists. But the purpose of it, at least one of the purposes, is to evolve our kind, compassionate hearts, to become more and more compassionate and kind with each incarnation, to evolve consciously, for our conscious to evolve, to rise to higher and higher levels, higher and higher understanding of the reality, to understand that we are all interconnected, that we all depend on each other, that all of nature, all living beings are part of a wonderfully woven vegan fabric. It's so we are it is believed that that everyone that we meet was or may have been our parents in a previous lifetime, because we have been reborn and born so many times, not only in human form but in animal form. I mean, in animal people form, in insects. So we had so many mothers and fathers in the past that when we meet someone, there's good chances that they were our parents, which is also why we should not hurt any being, because it's like we are hurting our parents. Maybe we do not remember. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen. And same with when we were animal people. Also, we had parents that took good care of us in each and every life. And the goal is to evolve, to become kinder, more compassionate, ultimately to end this cycle of reincarnation. Incarnation is not an endless event. It's something that can end when we become enlightened. Then we can. I mean, that's a different topic. Not sure why I started to discuss this. It's an interesting topic, yes. Maybe for another day. But we are all wonderful divine beings. We should take good care of ourselves, of all humans, of all living beings, of all the animal people, of the insects, of nature. We are 100% part of it. We are not separate. We are not here to dominate anyone, any being or nature. We are here to coexist, to create something wonderful together, all of us together. We are wonderful people, all of us. And we need to showcase it, we may be a beautiful piece of art, but then we need to maybe show this art to other beings, not to hide it in our closet. And so that's why it's a good idea to be kind and compassionate. That's our art. That's the art of kindness and compassion, the art of living, one could say. Living with compassion and kindness towards all beings, with no exception, zero exception. Doesn't mean we need to agree with everyone, but we are still kind and compassionate to all beings. Doesn't mean that we cannot scold sometimes people and even be angry. Anger is not necessarily a negative thing that often it is portrayed to be. Sometimes anger can be very necessary and positive if it's well directed by a well-meaning person. When anger is meant to help a person, that anger is very powerful and very good. But we rarely know when to be angry and when not to be angry. So better when, in that case, never to be angry, or as much as possible. Often our anger is very negative. We wish harm to people. It's that kind of anger. And that anger is very destructive and very negative. On the other hand, if we have an anger that we see a friend, maybe a good friend, a family member struggle and maybe going the wrong path, then we want to help them, then we may maybe like pretend to be hungry, angry. It's like a pretense. We are not really angry. It's an anger, but filled with love, true love. It is anger that wishes well to the other person, that tries to elevate them, tries to see that they are doing something wrong, that is harmful to themselves or to others. So that's why I do not believe that anger is necessarily negative. But probably in most cases it is, because we don't know how to use it properly. It's a tool basically in our toolbox. And yeah, so I don't know why I babbled on this. Maybe because I'm talking about self-dialogue, so I'm self-dialoguing. But I hope it is in a way always useful. Whatever I say, I don't want to say things that are not useful. So self-dialogue. So that is a wonderful practice where we talk to ourselves in a positive and constructive way. Again, I will introduce it a little bit, because since it's the internet, I have no idea who is listening. I think often different people are listening at different times, and sometimes for short periods, so it's hard to have continuity. And that's why it's much easier when it's really organized in like on-presence retreats. Then at least I know who is there, and that the people are always there, so we can have continuity and advance to further practices. Otherwise, it's not really possible. Maybe that's why Zoom retreats maybe could help more to for such practices, because then we can see each other, can interact with each other, talk with each other. So it's more kind of like a non-presence retreat. When doing life like this, it's not always easy for me to know what to do exactly, because I know why different people come at different times, and again for different periods of time, different durations. So I cannot just go from simple practices to like advanced practices. It doesn't make much sense, except if it would have been a tutorial. But I mean, kind of like a course. It is a kind of course, but it's meant for everybody, and one can watch any of the presentation, and one will have almost a complete view of the practice of that easy to follow practice that can be good for oneself to do. And so basically each presentation is kind of self-contained mini course. And always I try to give different kind of examples and look at it from different viewpoints, at the same thing but different viewpoints. But in any case, so self-dialogue. Self-dialogue is when we talk to ourselves positively, and there are many different ways of doing that. Some ways are like prayers. Prayer is a self-dialogue practice that is wonderful. One can either pray for like a higher creative energy or entity, or just to nature, or just as a prayer to prayer, a wish, a well-wishing prayer. That's also very good. No need to believe in anything, any god or in God. Just believe in kindness, maybe in compassion, in goodness. That's more than we can ever wish for. And we pray either pre-made prayers or own-made prayers. They are both good. Then we have also, as we said before, as we do every day, gratitude session. We are grateful for everything, because gratitude is the mother of all virtues, it is believed. It teaches us humility, which is a great, a very important virtues, quality. And yes, not believing that we are superior to any other being. Doesn't matter how much study we have made. We are not more intelligent than anyone else. We all have our intelligence, our own wisdom, but we are not superior. Okay, maybe we have some people who are more like advanced in some sense, of course, but in the general term of things, believing that everyone has the maybe capacity to reach anything that we have done, we are not better in any way than anyone else. Maybe we just had the lack of meeting the right person at the right time, maybe the right teacher who taught us the values of different values like kindness and compassion, and or any skill like music, piano, violin. Those are then we have teachers who teach that. So of course they are more skillful than us, but still the idea is that they teach in order for us to become like them. So in order for us to reach their level. So it's not from a sense of superiority, it's from a sense of wishing to impart and to share something that they have learned and that they wish to teach, because they love to teach, they love to share. I love to share, I love to I don't know if teach is the right word. I love to share whatever knowledge I have. I love to share. So so that is like gratefulness. And then we have also affirmations, different types of affirmations that one can focus upon and reflect on. Another one is the metta meditation, the loving kindness meditation of that originates from Buddhism, but it's, of course, I think it always existed, but they like perfected it. They practice it often, and it's a wonderful practice where we wish well to all beings and to those that are close to us, those that are neutral, and those that are difficult to us. It's always easy to wish well to those that are close to us, those that are like so-called important to us, like our family members, usually our friends, our own pets. So that is very easy. But then to those that are neutral, it's also quite easy. It's kind of a general well-being to beings that don't really think about too often, like maybe co-workers that we do not interact with, cashiers at supermarkets, people we meet in the bus, station, train. So people we have no idea who they are. We have neither positive nor negative emotion towards them or feelings, and then we wish them well. It's like our hearts open up to them, and it's a wonderful thing. But then the last part is the hardest part. Wishing well to those that are difficult to us, in one way or another. Again, doesn't need to be mortal enemies. Can be something as easy as a coworker that we have difficulty, working with. And wishing them well may be a bit hard because we do not wish to wish them well. It's like we are blocked. We are locked in that aspect of negativity that those people maybe hurt us and do not deserve to be happy. We try to open our hearts to see that they also have issues of their own. Maybe that's why they are negative and maybe always angry. And every one of us has their own issues in life. So it's kind of opening our hearts to universal compassion to all beings, even those that hurt us. Doesn't mean that we necessarily think what they do is good or anything. Of course, not if they do bad things. They it's not that we like let them do anything. It's not a kind of weak compassion or cowardly compassion. It's kind of being really strong in our hearts that we really wish people well, so that they themselves do not need to hurt any other being, that they discover true joy into compassion and kindness themselves, that their own families are happy. And so that is a wonderful practice that I don't know if Buddhists practice this every day, but they practice it, I believe, quite often, especially monks. And that's how they can relate to the world in a positive way, despite all the issues that we encounter in this world. We can still have a positive outlook, not a constantly angry outlook, one that is optimistic about people, that we believe that people can change and will change eventually. Sometimes it takes a long time, sometimes very long time. Some people change almost instantly. I think there is something like the philosopher's stone, when if you touch that stone, anything become gold, something like that. So maybe something like a kindness stone, a compassion stone, that people just maybe touch that stone and become kind and compassionate. That would be wonderful. And maybe we can be those stones through our own action, for our own thoughts, for our own words of kindness, and to try to inspire people to be kinder. That is wonderful. So let us become this kindness stone, this magical kindness stone that would be that would make probably a good movie. The Magical Kind Stone. Yeah, so that is meta meditation. Then we have higher truth that we can talk with to ourselves. That is like a question, higher truth, like who am I? Who am I not? That is a wonderful question. Who am I? Central to many spiritual practices, self-inquiry practices, where we really just inquiry. I mean, we don't really look for an answer. I mean, we are not, the mind will not suddenly talk with us and tell this is what you are. But it is from an experimental kind of way. Who we are, and then suddenly we realize that, oh, I am, but I am all. I am everyone. I am a being of universal consciousness. That is what we realize, that we are not alone in this world. We may believe we are alone, but we are made out of the same essence as everyone. And that essence is permeated everywhere in this universe. And this essence is made out of kindness, of true love, of joy, of rapture. It's an energy that uplifts, that harmonizes, pure joy. And this is who we really are. So we are awareness, consciousness. And we are using this body in this world because we need this body in this world. We cannot live without it, evidently. And so it's like an instrument. This body is a wonderful instrument that we use and that we should take good care of, because it's very rare to receive a human form. A human body requires us to already do a lot of good things in the past in order to receive this gift. It's like buying in the supermarket. Maybe the best products are more expensive. So this body, this human body, is very rare, extremely rare, and we need to use it. Use it for spreading kindness and compassion towards other beings and ourselves as well, and both humans and all the animals. It's an opportunity. We have an opportunity to spread kindness in this world. It's a wonderful so-called mission, wonderful aspiration to spread kindness and compassion in this world, behind our close-knit families and friends. It's really a universal compassion kind, to expand our consciousness from ourselves from our family, from our community, country, continent, and the world at large, to expand our consciousness from only caring for humans to caring for all living beings, expanding our consciousness by expanding our vision, our hearts, from seeing things as they really are, as they truly are, not as we imagine them to be or as society tells us they are. Seeing everything in the eyes of kindness, through the eyes of kindness. And that is a wonderful thing that can uplift us very much. And we should walk on this earth very lightly, very compassionately, very in a saintly way, one could say. What are saints? They are just, not just, but they are beings of immense kindness and compassion towards all beings. They come here to help humanity advance, especially spiritually. And yeah, that's what mystics, saints are basically. Just beings who developed their kindness and compassion for a long time. And then they spread this message of peace. But we should maybe listen to them from time to time. So this is higher truth. Like who am I? Then there are other aspects like self-counseling, like counseling ourselves in different ways. Like kind of like, what do I want? What do I wish? What do I need to do maybe in life or now? What are my aspirations, my goals? How to achieve them? Which habits do I want to develop? How can I become kinder, more compassionate? Those kind of questions can come up. And how can I make myself happy and others happy? That's the kind of good question to ask. What is the best thing that can bring happiness to me and to all beings? And to try to follow that as much as possible. And that is self-counseling, trying to find out what is our purpose in life. Why are we here? What is the purpose of it all? Is a nice question to ponder about. I don't know if we ponder it about enough because we have so many responsibilities in life. We work so much, and all the time we have activities. And those activities kind of numb us down. We don't. We then are tired, even to think. So we just watch TV and go to social media and pass our time that way. But we could reflect instead. We could reflect a little bit about life in general, about how to be more happy. And happiness is important, very important. We all want to be happy. We need to open our hearts to happiness and to joy, and to try to laugh more. There's a wonderful practice called laughter yoga. In the past, I used to in my retreats. I mean, the retreats that I gave. I used to start all of the retreats with a laughter yoga session, and that it was wonderful. It's like laughing all the time. One started like a fake laughs, but then it becomes a real laugh. Especially in a group, when many people laugh together, then it becomes very contagious. It can make people uncomfortable, so it may not be for everyone, maybe. I didn't give it lately in my retreats, but maybe I should. But yeah, maybe if you really want to be more happy, I would suggest checking out laughter yoga. If you never heard about it, you can just Google it. There are some wonderful teachers, some wonderful sessions that you can try, and they are quite fun. And yeah, I think there are laughter yoga centers around the world now. It originated in India, I believe, by a medical doctor and his wife, I believe. Don't remember exactly the history. But yeah, it spreads quite strongly. So that's something I would suggest. And finally, we have friendliness with mind, as a self-dialogue, where we are just talking in a friendly manner with our own mind, as if our mind is our best friend, and we just like to chat with our mind about anything and everything. Like, how do we do when we meet our best friend? We we almost rarely scold them or are angry with them. Like, no, we best friends are usually love to see each other, and are almost there's almost never any anger between best friends. Um, it's always quite fun and laughing, laughter is a lot, playing games, playing sports. So similarly with our mind, if our mind is one of our best friend, then we should not scold it. Um, we should befriend it. We should talk with our mind as if our mind is also trying to learn. So, and our mind wants to help us. But let's talk friendly with the mind. So that's the idea. And yeah, there may be other like self dialogue kind of um, things to do, but I think those are the maybe the main topics to discuss with the mind, the way to discuss the mind. If you can think about anything else, then that's okay. We can use that. But let's do that now. So for about 12 minutes, let's take this opportunity to talk with the mind. And talk with the mind is really in silence. We talk in the mind itself. So we do not use words. We could use words if we are alone. Um, I sometimes talk with myself out loud. But usually, no, it is when we try it in the mind. So let's do that. I talked enough. Just relax your legs. So we are going to move now to our meditation session. So again, meditation is more about letting go of thoughts rather than going towards them, like self-dialogue. So they are like two aspects of practice of the same coin. One is talk and one is not talk. One is following the thoughts, the other is not following the thoughts. So in meditation, we really try to, there are different types of meditation, but the most common one is either concentration or awareness based, where we just concentrate on something and we can just be aware of it, and let go of all the thoughts, all thoughts that come. We just don't follow them. They are there, but we don't interact with them as much as possible. And that's the idea. So that's the idea of meditation here, just to focus fully on an object of concentration. In our case, it will be the breath. So we're going to concentrate on the sensation of the breath at the nostrils, or sensation at the below the nostrils, or maybe the cold and hot air coming out in and out of the nostrils. And we try to be aware of that. And that's our object of concentration. That's what we concentrate on in order to help our mind to remain focused. And we are just aware of it, basically. So it's kind of a mixture of awareness and concentration. And when thoughts come, then we just, they will come, but we just let them go, like clouds. And to help us do that also, in the beginning, we can also count the in and out breath, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, back to 1, and so on. And this helps us a lot. It's a kind of a mantra. The numbers become the mantra. We can also use like think in and out when we inhale, exhale. And also when thoughts come, we can think thinking, to acknowledge the thoughts. And that way we can go back to our meditation in an easier way. So that is the meditation that we are going to practice is breath awareness. Is some of the most well-known and when we practice meditations. So there are different types of meditation, of course, some based on mantras, chakras, visualizations and whatnot. But we will stick with breath awareness. Breath is something that we always have, that is quite easy to work with, because we all breathe, so we can all focus on it. And in the same times, we can, in a deeper way, feel that basically because we are all breathing, then we are all one. We all need to breathe. Fish also, they need to breathe, just in a different way. They get also the oxygen. But all beings basically need some kind of fuel for their bodies to function. So if you focus on this breath, then in some way we are, it's like a universal kind of meditation. universal kind of act that we do, and we become one with all in some sense. So let's do that. So I will do just 3, 4, 6, and 9 meditations today. So we start with 3 minutes, and let's start now. Try to not move as much as possible, but be relaxed. Just relax a little bit and get ready for the 4 minutes. When thoughts come, don't follow them. Let's not follow them. Just gently bring our attention back to the breath. Very gentle, not scolding, just gently bringing back to the breath. Okay, let's start. Okay. Prepare for 6 minutes. As we advance in the duration, it may be a bit harder to keep the focus. That's good. That's just some practice. Okay, let's start. And finally, get ready for the last meditation of this morning, 9 minutes. So just relax your legs, your feet. And give it all. Try to not move. Even if you feel itch, don't itch. Just watch the itch. Notice, be aware of the itch, and then it will pass away. So let's start for 9 minutes. So this concludes our session this morning for today. I hope it was useful. So we started with the discussion about fashion, about clothes. Today that was the discussion about how we can have more compassion and kindness in the fashion industry with vegan clothes instead of animal-based clothes like leather, wool, and feathers and silk. So we try to minimize suffering not only in the food space, but in all other spaces. Like in other presentation, already discussed about the so-called entertainment and sports, what is considered sports like hunting and fishing. That's a big discussion too. And yeah, fashion is a very, very big discussion as well. And we need to be aware of it, to educate ourselves about what's going on in there so that we are more knowledgeable in our decisions. But what it all boils down to is, again, all the absolutely all the issues that we have concerning how we treat other beings, even humans, on animal people, is we view them as, especially the animal people, we view them as products. Like we try to dominate them instead of coexist. That's the main point. And from there, everything goes downhill. It's like a snowball effect. When we think about beings as products, they have no more, basically they are kind of lifeless. We do not think about them as life anymore. We just like we buy a smartphone, then we buy then an animal is also like a smartphone. We can throw it whenever we want, and yeah, so we can do with it whatever we wish. But that is domination. That is very wrong. And once we try to open our hearts to all beings, see that we are all one, that we need to coexist, not dominate. In the humans realm also, when between humans and humans, we may feel that we are kind of superior, or that we are better than another person for any reason. Like for example, the color of our skin, that determines if we are superior or not. That is absolutely wrong, of course. But from there came a lot of issues in the past and still present, but especially the past with slavery and kind of domination of beings just because of where they come from, because of their skin. I mean, it's ridiculous. It's we are very much we and it's like also we feel that we are stronger than other people, then we also have the right to do things like wars, like countries invading other countries because they believe that they are stronger, then they can do whatever they wish to other countries. Not realizing that hurting the other country is also hurting themselves, evidently. Not realizing that people are people, beings are beings. It is just pure ego, pure wrongful desires, wrongful thoughts, and this creates a lot of issues in this world. But that is the most visible to humans, that we mostly see humans against humans, which is wrong. I mean, it's very wrong, of course, but we have much more trouble to see the issue with humans and animals, especially indirect violence, violence that we do not see. Like when we buy a leather jacket, we don't really think that it is a cow's skin, really, or that the cow suffered terribly for that. Or when we buy fur, we don't really think about the animal in the cage that had to be there for a long time and all alone, trembling and in fear. And this is just vanity and ego, and it is as much wrong as wars between humans and humans. And when we realize that, then we will make a big step in the civilization if we do it all together. We need to do it all together. We cannot do it all alone. Each one of us is important. We should not think that because we are just one, then we don't make a difference. We all make a difference. If everybody thinks like that, then there will be never any advance. And yes, so I would like to see this world become a heaven for all beings. I believe I'm not the only one who wish that. I believe you also wish that. And all beings wish that. All humans and non-humans. And we can make it happen, but we need to work for it. We need to make kind and compassionate choices in our lives. And some of the easiest ones, but also the most impactful ones, are food and fashion, but also other ones like entertainments, experiments on animals. But maybe diet and fashion may be two of the biggest ones that we can easily make a change. And for the better, for kindness' sake, for compassionate's sake, not for anyone saying that one should do it, but just for goodness' sake, for loving sake, for supreme kindness' sake, for our soul's sake, for God's sake. Don't know if you can say it that way, but I think you understand. So let's open our hearts and educate ourselves about different aspects of what's going on in this world, especially towards the animal people, our dear brothers and sisters from the animal kingdom. We are just one species among millions. We are not superior to them. We should help them, we should assist them, we should coexist with them, but not dominate them. And not use our so-called superior intellect for evil things. And we all have the capacity to be kind and compassionate. No one wishes to be unkind. It's just habits. A lot of it is habits and social structure, social pressure, family pressure. But that is still a choice of ours. We can make choices. We can all make the right choice if we choose to do it. It is such a choice. We can do it today. If not today, tomorrow, then, or in a week, or in a month. But we can make a choice, and it's up to us to know about those things. It's our responsibility, it's our duty. As human beings, we need to be kings and queens on this planet. We need to be heavenly beings. We can be heavenly beings. We can play that role, if we can say that way. We can help all beings. We can all become saints. Saints are not meant for just a couple of beings. There's a famous saying like, every saint has a past and every sinner has a future. So saints were also sinners, and sinners will turn into saints. And let's become saints today. What prevents us from being so? It's not like it's not being humble. Just saints are just, what is the definition of a saint? It's just someone who is kind and compassionate to all beings, basically, and who lives by the motto, be good, do good, be one. That's basically the essence of all spiritual practices, of all religions, in anywhere in this planet, for all beings. There's not a different kindness for different people. Kindness is kindness. Compassion is compassion. So let's be compassionate to all beings, please. For our sake as well, for our happiness, for our neighbors' happiness, for our family's happiness, for all beings' happiness, for nature's happiness. And yeah, that's all. So let's end this with the mantra. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy and free. And may our thoughts, words, and deeds contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti Shanti Shantihi. Om peace to all of nature, peace to all living beings, to all humans, to all the animal people, and finally peace to ourselves, to our own mind. Thank you so much for being here, for having a wonderful heart. I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful day. And yeah, bye-bye.